Hello, this is day 25 of reading one canto of the Divine Comedy every day. We are on Inferno, Canto 25. I'll read through the Longfellow translation before providing some brief analysis. At the conclusion of his words, the thief lifted his hands aloft with both the figs, crying, "Take that, God, for at thee I aim them." From that time forth, the serpents were my friends. For one entwined itself about his neck, as if it said, "I will not thou speak more." And round his arms another, and rebound him, clinching itself together so in front, that with them he could not a motion make. Pistoia, ah, Pistoia, why resolve not to burn thyself to ashes, and so perish, since in ill-doing thou thy seed excellest? Through all the somber circles of this hell, spirit I saw not against God so proud, not he who fell at Thebes down from the walls. He fled away, and spake no further word. And I beheld a centaur full of rage come crying out, where is the scoffer? I do not think Maremma has so many serpents as he had all along his back, as far as where our countenance begins. Upon the shoulders, just behind the nape, with wings wide open, was a dragon lying, and he sets fire to all he encounters. My master said, that one is Cacus, who beneath the rock upon Mount Aventine created oftentimes a lake of blood. He goes not on the same road with his brothers, by reason of the fraudulent theft he made of the great herd which he had near to him, whereat his tortuous actions ceased beneath the mace of Hercules, who peradventure gave him 100, and he felt not 10. While he was speaking thus, he had passed by, and spirits 3 had underneath us come, of which nor I aware was, nor my leader, until what time they shouted, "Who are you?" On which account our story made a halt, and then we were intent on them alone. I did not know them, but it came to pass, as it is wont to happen by some chance, that one to name the other was compelled, exclaiming, "Where can Chiantha have remained?" Whence I, so that the leader might attend, upward from chin to nose my finger laid. If thou art, reader, slow now to believe what I shall say, it will no marvel be, for I who saw it hardly can admit it. As I was holding raised on them my brows, behold, a serpent with 6 feet darts forth in front of one, and fastens wholly on him. With middle feet it bound him round the paunch, and with the forward ones its arms it seized, then thrust its teeth through one cheek and the other. The hindermost it stretched upon his thighs, and put its tail through in between the two, and up behind along the reins outspread it. Ivy was never fastened by its barbs unto a tree so, as this horrible reptile upon the other's limbs entwined its own. Then they stuck close, as if of heated wax they had been made, and intermixed their colour. Nor one nor other seemed now what he was, e'en as proceedeth on before the flame upward along the paper a brown colour, which is not black as yet, and the white dies. The other two looked on, and each of them cried out, "Oh me, Agnello, how thou changest! Behold, thou now art neither two nor one." Already the 2 heads had one become, when there appeared to us 2 figures mingled into one face, wherein the 2 were lost. Of the 4 lists were fashioned the 2 arms, the thighs and legs, the belly and the chest, members became that never yet were seen. Every original aspect there was cancelled. 2, and yet none did the perverted image appear, and such departed with slow pace. Even as a lizard, under the great scourge of day's canicular exchanging hedge, lightning appeareth if the road it cross, thus did appear, coming towards the bellies of the 2 others, a small, fiery serpent, livid and black as is a peppercorn. And in that part whereat is first received our ailment, it one of them transfixed, then downward fell in front of him extended. The one, transfixed, looked at it, but said not. Nay, rather with feet motionless he yawned, just as if sleep or fever had assailed him. He at the serpent gazed, and it at him. One through the wound, the other through the mouth, smoked violently, and the smoke commingled. Henceforth be silent, Lucan, where he mentions wretched Sabalus and Nasidius, and wait to hear what now shall be shot forth. Be silent, Ovid, of Cadmus and Arethusa, For if him to a snake, her to fountain, converts he fabling, that I grudge him not. Because two natures never front to front has he transmuted, so that both the forms to interchange their matter ready were. Together they responded in such wise, that to a fork the serpent cleft his tail, and eke the wounded drew his feet together. The legs together with the thighs themselves adhered so, that in little time the juncture no sign whatever made that was apparent. He with the cloven tail assumed the figure the other one was losing, and his skin became elastic, and the other's hard. I saw the arms draw inward at the armpits, and both feet of the reptile that were short lengthen as such as those contracted were. Thereafter the hind feet, together twisted, became the member that a man conceals, and of his own the wretch had two created. While both of them the exhalation veils with a new color, and engenders hair on one of them and depilates the other, the one uprose and down the other fell, though turning not away their impious lamps, underneath which each one his muzzle changed. He who was standing drew it towards the temples, and from excess of matter which came thither, issued the ears from out the hollow cheeks. What did not backward run and was retained of that excess made to the face a nose, and the lips thickened far as was befitting. He who lay prostrate thrusts his muzzle forward, and backward draws the ears into his head, in the same manner as the snail its horns, and so the tongue, which was entire and apt for speech before, is cleft, and the bye forked in the other closes up, and the smoke ceases. The soul, which to a reptile had been changed, along the valley hissing, takes to flight, and after him the other speaking sputters. Then did he turn upon him his new shoulders, and said to the other, I'll have Buoso run, crawling as I have done, along this road. In this way I beheld the seventh ballast shift and reshift, and here be my excuse the novelty, if aught my pen transgress. And notwithstanding that mine eyes might be somewhat bewildered, and my mind dismayed, they could not flee away so secretly, but that I plainly saw Puccio Sciancato, and he it was whose soul of three companions, which came in the beginning, was not changed. The other was he whom thou, Gavil, weepest. This Bolgia's secrets are slowly unraveling themselves, probably just in time for us to leave it. At first I had thought that the snakes were symbolic of the lies and fraud that each thief had engaged in, but it's even more poignant than that. Turns out, we learn in this canto, that each of the snakes that we see is, in fact, a soul that has been transformed into a snake, meaning each thief has been robbed of his very humanity. More than that, because we also see that one of the snakes, which has, become so after being transformed from a soul into a snake, then attacks another soul. And once he does so, those two souls then combine into a single reptilian monster. So it's not just humanity that they're being robbed of, it's their individuality that's being robbed as well. It's reminiscent somewhat of Lucifer, who we have not seen yet, but his physical form that we end up seeing is a sick, twisted imitation of the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, three persons, but one God. And so I wonder with these snakes who, eat other souls and thus become 2 in 1, 3 in 1, 4 in 1, maybe. I wonder if we're seeing a foreshadowing of Lucifer here. At the beginning there, it says that Vanni Fucci gives God, quote, the figs. Mark Musa explains that this is a gesture that definitely has its equivalent that's a little bit more familiar to us. In any case, he gets his just desserts pretty quick. More mythological figures appear here for the first time in a little while. There's a centaur plus his brother, who is for some reason a fire-breathing dragon that Hercules had slain. Most of the chapter is taken up by this transformation, and so the only really other interesting or relevant bits about it are who is being transformed. They're all Florentines, as Mark Musa explains, and so we can trust that Dante's audience probably recognized who they were. That's all for today, though. I'll see you tomorrow.